Have people really been abducted by aliens?
Let's talk about that. Good mythical morning.
The universe is a huge place.
Yes.
We don't even know how huge it is or how big it's becoming. Current estimates say there are 100 octillion stars.
That's quite a few.
One with 29 zeros after it.
Big number.
So odds are there's some other life out there.
But the question is, has that life
Found
come
us.
in contact with us? Well, there's a lot of people who say yes. And now, personally, I don't believe this has happened. But
Me neither.
a lot of the stories that I've heard before are like Uncle Hank, you know, the guy that has no hair on top of his head, but he has a lot of hair in the back, and he has a koozie with him all the time. He's got like an alien abduction story. But not all alien abduction stories are like Uncle Hank's. They are sometimes more sophisticated and harder to just dismiss. And we're gonna be talking today about, we each have a story that we think is more difficult to dismiss than your uncle with the koozie.
Yeah, so I'll start. I've found, this is one of the first alien abduction stories, and I'm gonna go with this one because I think there's some convincing things to it. Postman Barney Hill and his wife Betty were driving back from Canada. They were in New Hampshire. It was at night, around 10 p.m. They see this star that's moving erratically.
Okay.
That ain't no star. So they pull over at a rest area. Now let me point out.
That's nice.
Here's a picture of the couple. They're not at the rest area in this. This is a posed picture, not at a rest area. Would this couple lie to you?
They seem trustworthy.
They seem trustworthy. Look at the dots in Betty's lap.
Yeah, okay. He's not a lie. He's not gonna tell a lie.
And he's not gonna suffer any liars or sit in the lap of a liar. So that's point one right there.
That is scientific.
They stop at the rest area.
They have a Datsun.
Barney gets out his binoculars and starts looking at this thing. He estimates.
He had binoculars?
Yeah, of course he did.
Were they around his neck already?
Of course. He's a postman with a dachshund. He estimated it was a 40-foot long craft with flashing colors, and it had windows, and as it was getting closer to him, because yes, it was getting closer to him, he could see that there were beings inside of it. Okay. He gets back in the car and says, "They're gonna capture us." And then they start driving off. They start to experience beeping, buzzing, and then there's like a tingling sensation and a vibration of the car.
They were at Brookstone in the massage chairs.
No, they were in their car.
We're at Brookstone, baby.
They were driving. They were driving down the road, and then all of a sudden, they go into what they describe as a state of their minds being dulled.
Oh.
So their minds are dulled. And then there's a second set of beeping and buzzing. And I'm telling you what I think happened is that they were sucked up.
That's what you think happened.
Sucked up into the
Well, that's what they think
into
happened.
the craft. No, they didn't know at this point. So then they keep driving, but they realize that they are now, it's seemingly instantaneously 35 miles south of where they had started.
Wow.
With no recollection of traveling those 35 miles.
That's not Brookstone.
They arrive at home, and then they start to notice that they have some uncontrollable impulses and thoughts, like Betty's packing a suitcase and putting it by the door. She's having nightmares of UFO abductions. Mm-hmm. Barney was compelled to check his genitalia.
Okay, all right, that's quite a compulsion.
That is a healthy compulsion to check it every now and again.
Yeah, it is.
But
you should check it. I mean,
he didn't find anything, but he was compelled to check it.
Yeah.
And only after the beeping and the buzzing and the.
Yeah. Right.
So get this.
I get you, Barney.
Betty calls the local Air Force base.
Well, why not?
And they answer.
Hello, Air Force.
I mean, like,
we don't have any massage chairs.
how is this possible? But seriously, she calls the Air Force base. Major Paul W. Henderson says the UFO was also confirmed by our radar after she describes their experience.
And that just means unidentified flying object.
He said the UFO was also confirmed by our radar.
Okay, all right.
Then they decide to they try to account for what they believe to be 2 hours of lost time and 35 miles. They go into regressive hypnosis, and they both have the same stories. They're drawing sketches. This is a sketch that Barney drew of the leader, he called it.
It's a snake with a beret.
Yeah.
It's a French snake.
He's a postman. He's not an artiste. So basically, they come to the conclusion that they've been abducted by aliens. They remember through regressive hypnosis that they took their skin, hair, nail samples, bodily fluid samples. Here's the thing, guys.
I get you, Barney.
This is a typical alien abduction story, except it was the first one.
Right.
And they kind of had to figure it out.
They weren't building on other previous stories.
Other people emulated them.
That picture of the snake with the beret, totally original.
Seriously, totally original.
Yeah.
The Air Force confirmed that there was something in the radar, and the Dachshund. The Dachshund, people.
Okay.
How do you say that dog?
You say Dachshund, you don't say Dachshund.
That's how you spell it, though. I mean, believe.
So that's what it comes down to.
Believe the Dachshund.
They have a Dachshund. All right, I've got a story.
They corroborated, in their regression.
This is the Travis Walton story, very famous, probably the most famous UFO abduction, alien abduction story back from November of 1975. He's clearing trees, kind of a blue collar guy. He's clearing trees.
Literally, he's wearing a blue collar and that plaid shirt.
He was a logger. He's clearing trees in Arizona with 7 other guys. They finish their shift, they get into a truck, big pickup truck, 7 guys. And they're heading down the road. And they see, quote, a luminous object shaped like a flattened disc. Travis.
Saucer. I call that a flying
saucer. Travis gets out and approaches the saucer.
Of course he does.
And the rest of the guys stay in the truck. They see speaking of blue collar, a blue beam hit him, beam of light, knocks him down. They freak out, the other 6 guys. They drive off. After a while, they're like, well, maybe we should go get Travis.
They ditched him.
Wouldn't you? They're scared. They go back, he's nowhere to be found. So they immediately go to the police in the nearest town. They say, they tell them the whole story. Our buddy was hit with this beam of light. And they're like, these dudes are nuts, but maybe something's going on. They start a manhunt. It ends up being the largest manhunt in Arizona history. 5 days of looking for Travis. But at the same time, they're like, of course these guys didn't really experience a UFO situation, right? They suspected that they murdered him. They teamed up on him and murdered him, and their typical logger way of telling the story was, hey man, let's say he got abducted by aliens. That'll be believable.
Blue beam of light. Let's get our story straight.
So they polygraph them, give them a lie detector test. 5 out of 6 of the guys passed the test.
Oh, so the 6th one killed him.
And one of the guys who was there, it was just inconclusive. He didn't finish the test because he was kind of emotionally shaken up.
Of course.
The guys who administered these tests said, we are thoroughly convinced that these men believed that he was abducted by aliens. They did not kill him. They believed that this is what has happened.
Okay.
Meanwhile, what happens to Travis? Well, 5 days pass, and all of a sudden he wakes up in front of a local gas station with an incredibly detailed story of what had happened. I think he still was clothed. He still had that blue shirt on, I'm pretty sure. Here's what he remembers. First of all, it's an incredibly detailed story. I'm just gonna give you some of the highlights.
First of all, they didn't kill him because he's back.
He's back.
So there you go.
He remembers being on a table thinking he's in a hospital room, but then he looks up and he sees aliens that, quote, looked like fetuses caring for him. So the old fetus alien, he gets scared, not because they're aliens, but because they're fetus aliens. And he picks up a glass cylinder on a shelf and begins yelling at them and waving the glass cylinder.
A flask?
And they leave, just a glass cylinder. I don't know what that's for.
Like a luminary that you put like a little...
I don't have a picture, it was on the alien ship.
Okay.
I'm going off Travis's testimony here.
Got it.
He waves it at them like a magic wand. They go out of the room, and then he says, I got this spaceship to myself. He walks down a hallway, goes into a room, and
He's a penguin.
There's a room with a chair in the middle with a lever.
Of course there is.
Or a lever. This is like a cartoon. I gotta say, Travis, at this point it sounds like a cartoon, but you know what? I'm gonna keep going with this.
A barber chair.
He gets into the barber chair. He pulls the lever, and all of a sudden it starts like a light show of stars. Like he's at the planetarium, basically. He should have had a woman with him because this would have been a great first date. One of my best first dates was at the planetarium.
Learn her a little something.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at the stars. Look how small we are. We're so small, but me and you are right here next to each other in the
planetarium. No one will know anything we do.
That's right. That's what happened. There was no date, though. Eventually he starts thinking, maybe I should get out of here. He starts walking around the craft a little bit more. He finds this, quote, tall human character wearing blue overalls and a glassy helmet. I don't know what that was about. But then he finds more of those guys. They end up putting a gas mask.
Farmer aliens.
Yeah, with glass helmets. They put a
deep sea diving farmer aliens.
Gas mask on him. He gets knocked out, and the next thing he remembers, he wakes up at the gas station. Gas mask gas station? I don't know, maybe.
But he's maybe not.
And he thinks that 2 hours have passed, but 5 days have passed.
Whoa, does he still have the flask in his hand? Like he comes to
He did not bring the glass cylinder with him. It was not a flask, Link. And he did not have the lever with him. But he had a story that he turned into a book called The Walton Experience.
He had quite a story.
That then was turned into a TV show, long-running TV show called The Waltons.
Good night, Jim Bob.
No, actually it was turned into a movie called Fire in the Sky back in the 90s. And this guy is a celebrity amongst his community. You can go online, you search this guy on YouTube, and there's him talking at UFO conventions. He's still like a celebrity who tells his story. And most of these guys, as part of the crew, have maintained their testimony. There's one guy that's a little squirrely, but most of them have maintained their testimony.
He's still in prison for murdering him.
And he's trying to get Fire in the Sky remade.
Sequel?
Because he wants it to be accurate. He wants it to be accurate. He wants to be
visually accurate, or the story wasn't right?
He wants all the details to be. He wants the flask to be just right. He wants the fetal aliens to be right.
Why should I believe this one? I mean, there are no binoculars. There's no dachshund.
Well, there is a movie though. I mean, he made it into a movie and wrote a book.
Right. Okay.
And he has a mustache. He has a very, very thick mustache.
So he has maintained
his mustache
about this one.
He has maintained his mustache over the past 40 years. In the same way he has maintained his story, Link.
Oh.
I mean, if the mustache started to give a little bit, I'd be, I don't believe you, but he keeps that mustache strong, the story stays strong. I'm grasping.
But he wears a suit.
I'm grasping at glass cylinders here.
Yeah,
and levers in the planetarium.
So, Barney and Betty, you got my vote. I don't know. Debate away.
Debate away.
Thanks for liking and commenting.
You know what time it is.
I'm Zach from Mesa, Arizona, and it's time to spin the wheel of mythicality.
9 out of 10 people report that wearing a Good Mythical Morning t-shirt while watching Good Mythical Morning gives them a better experience.
Click through to Good Mythical More, where we say what it would take for us to actually believe in alien abductions.
Wow, got a lot going on over
Get a
there.
mythical mug. Wear the shirt this way if you want to.
In a world without pancakes.
Oh.
In a world without pancakes.
Eat a waffle. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Have you seen Gravity?
Yes.
It's like that, except with McConaughey.
I've almost watched Interstellar 700 times, but you know why I haven't?
It's loud.